Hello guys, welcome back to episode 3 of Online Total Warhammer Battles. Today I'll be doing a 1v1. I'm going to be playing as the Empire, who's lying across the valley over there, with my opponent running a Skaven army. And let's just have a quick look at the units he has before this really begins. So he's got a good core of slingers and gutter runners to try and make up his ranged. He has got some Stormhaven, which is their sort of high tier infantry, but even their high tier infantry isn't that good. Lots of clan rats to make up the cannon fodder. No real versatility in sort of movement. No doom wheel or artillery to try and force an engagement. It's a very brave tactic to play as the Skaven and go for an all-out charge. I think he's basically relying on this monstrosity or Hellpit abomination to just come get in close and deal all the damage. Now let's have a quick look at what I'm running over here. Over here I've decided to set up in a very defensive formation, as I saw I was up against Skaven. Running some halberders on each flank, because they'll hold off any sort of cavalry charge. But no real cavalry charge to worry about. In the middle I've got my pan gunners. They're going to do some direct volley damage fire, and as soon as the enemy gets close, my rear line of flagellants is going to charge out to hold them in place, while the handgunners and crossbowmen I have here are going to do lots of range damage. My leader here is not Karl France, he's just the generic general. Didn't really get any specific abilities for him, but I'm running him as cavalry so I can have him run out to anywhere on the field that I need him. And then 2 mortars to just try and do some long range damage before I get in close. But here's the best bit. Over in the forest here, I got 2 units of Empire Knights with high chevrons because I wanted them to be my big ace in the hole, because I knew that Skaven couldn't run cavalry. So let's put it back on play and see what happens. So the Skaven at first was very hesitant, this player. He wasn't really sure what to do. He expected me to be more around here, and I was over here. And so I see he's not really doing anything. And I try to adjust my position, at which point he then adjusts his. And I realise that he's not the character that's going to wait and hold the line. He's going to come to me. And that's actually a massive advantage for me, because as you can see I have a very specific and defensive formation. And this also works for my hidden cavalry units I have over here. So I start walking them to get a better position. I believe they're headed over this direction, yeah. So I can come back behind and maybe take out some of these clan rat spears before the actual engagement begins. So I'm just going to speed it up because this does take a quick minute to be marching. But as I said, he's just moving to my position and I'm just moving some cavalry into the flank. Otherwise there's not really much happening. I take the opportunity to run the cavalry in a second, because he is just leaving this one unit just on its own enough to where it's too tempting. So let's have a quick look at this charge from these guys' perspective. Here they come. Boom! Big hits there in the back. And I'm just going to envelop and try and take out that one unit. He does react pretty quick. You can see these guys are running off. And all of a sudden they'll turn around to try and save these spears. If I break those ones pretty fast. And then pull out knowing that I don't want a direct engagement against halberd and spear units. It's just not in my advantage. I think I traded pretty well. Yeah, I only lost some HP on these guys, didn't lose a single unit. And obviously, he lost about, I don't know, a third of his actual units, half his HP on this unit. So that's a good start, good poke. So I couldn't see all these guys stacked up in the forest when I was playing, but I knew they were there. The only thing I could see was the Hellpit abomination which was just hidden on the flanks. Excuse me just 1 second, guys. I need to pop the music back on. I just realised I haven't had it on for all these last few videos. Not sure if it'll work in this replay. Oh, there we go. So then, yeah, we still got the Hell Pit Abomination over here. He's the one I'm worried about, and he's the one that I try and get my mortars to fire on. Again, it takes a while because now he's very jittery about the cavalry. Look how many units he had stationed back here. I couldn't see them because they're in forest, but he has a lot ready to fend me off. Even covering his left flank there. But when he realizes I'm not going to commit them, which I'm really not, I pull them all the way off over here. He pulls back a bit. So let's just get a quick look at this line. Skaven, just an absolute monstrous army. Look at this, the line just never ends. There's several stacks of it. So they have the overwhelming numerical advantage on me at the moment. Just unbelievable, even with me having taken some out. And over here, my guy is ready to face the charge. If we look out across the valley where it's actually going to take place, it's pretty good firing zone. Just got the enemy hidden in the tree line there. So let's pop it back on play. We'll give it a bit more of a speed up so we can get to the charge, because as I said, it does take a while. He seems very skittish. I have to sort of coax him out. There we go. And so it begins. Here they come. And my units are just gonna open fire on these guys. There they go. And as I said, as soon as they feel like they're getting in range, I send out the flagellants to intercept. Just to hold them in place while my range units do a lot of the work. Because I knew I wouldn't win in a straight up melee fight. Empire units are not good enough for that. Oh, big charge here. Oh, a little bit of friendly fire there from the mortars. But that's the good thing about flagellant units, they can't be broken. So I don't have to worry about losing their morale at all to friendly fire or anything like that. So if we get a bigger overview of the engagement, as I said, he's just committed to everything. He has no real options because he has no cavalry. Ooh, my flagellant's just taking a beating here from this Hell Pit Abomination. So I send in my leader straight away, make sure that I intercept this big fella, who's just tearing my units apart. Look at that though, just facing him down, man on a horse versus absolute monster. You can see all my crossbows flying in, you can hear the handgunners going off, and mortar explosions to boot. A lot of the punishment my guys will take will be from the range units, because my flagellants just can't make up the distance to getting close. We got a nice Plague Monks fight going here. Halberds trying to take them on. I didn't think this engagement would go well. I believe I do reinforce them. So if we take a look over here, I brought in the cavalry to try and take out their range units. But they did have infantry hidden in reserve. Look, that's just going to come and try and take apart these Reichsguard. Empire Knights even, I don't have Reichsguard. But the good news is, the Abomination took an absolute battering, but in exchange, my leader did take a fair few hits. But it served the purpose, their damage powerhouse was gone, because the flagellants are not even my damage powerhouse, even though they're damage dealers. I was relying solely on my ranged units, and so I just needed to keep them at bay, and I don't think he quite got that. Because look at that, just the amount of projectiles that I'll have coming in. And I've still got infantry units that are fresh and spare. So I send in these flagellants just to try and relieve the Empire Knights of that close melee damage, because they're starting to envelop. So I counter by enveloping them. I didn't want to charge the Empire Knights in and out, because that would mean letting their infantry not be tied up anymore, which obviously I don't want. Look at this fella. just absolute terror facing down against this. My general looked at me and told me to go fight that with a spear in my hands. I'd probably run away. Look at this. Whoa. So if we get a quick overview of the fight and see how it's going, so you can see I've still got clear defined lines. He's a bit more scattered. He's got units sat at the back still waiting for the cavalry, even though I've engaged here. And he's trying to push on the left flank, which in his defense there's no real better side to push, but I probably would have pushed more in the center and gone straight for my ranged. He seems to be too set on trying to take out my infantry. But if you look, I didn't even have to worry about this abomination when it hit my range units because it was too low health, and the only thing that comes out of it is spears, and so I could just rely on the crossbows to just take them out. Got some good handgunner shots going off there. Their leader is the only thing I'm really worried about at this point, because he is doing some big damage there. But this fight here, look at this. Absolute brutal battle of wheels between two halberd infantry. Skaven are bigger, but we have the discipline. Look at this. Just hold the line and wait for the range to come reinforce you boys. That's the plan. Alright, so over here on the cavalry flank, still just holding off the spears. The flagellants doing as much as they can. Look at that, kicked his head off. That is some powerful thighs you got there, buddy. Got some explosions going off in the background. What a sight. As you can see, lots starting to rout now. I'm able to free up my right flank, who's coming over to reinforce. Exactly what I wanted, with the leader being freed up to charge in. The gunners move forward to take out what's left over here. Look at that beautiful volley. Just hitting this flank and just shatters them instantly. They have no range support, no cavalry support. All that's left really is basic infantry units, so I start to chase them down. And over on the right flank, so what's left shatters. So thanks guys, thanks for joining me for another episode, and I will see you next time.